Howdy ho, howdy ho. So another day, another dollar, as they say. So after the fun festivities of yesterday, I figured I would start the first question and answer video today with something that is kind of topical with everything that went on yesterday. If you're watching this at a later date and you're trying to figure out what the hell I'm talking about, go back and watch the video called like the rapist mentality, or Google search rapist mentality under Eli the Computer Guy Live, and you will see the video I did yesterday. So, if you're wondering. But basically, a question then comes up, and this is one of those questions that comes up, is the question of where are lines, right? So I talked about that yesterday, where I get these people who ask me questions, and then they just keep hammering and hammering and hammering and hammering away, with the expectation that I have to respond to them. So I had the issue yesterday of, like I say, it was this person that had sent me a question. I was actually going to answer the question, but I use Skype for business communication for all these Silicon Discourse meetings that I use, and he just kept hammering me on Skype. I accept basically almost every request that comes in, with the understanding that I'm only going to be talking to these people during scheduled meetings. And so the problem with Skype is, unlike a lot of the other social media platforms, it's a platform for real-time communication, which means there's zero filtering on Skype, right? If you send a message, if you send a call request, if you send any of that, it goes right through. Facebook has filters, and Twitter has filters, and LinkedIn has filters, and all these other communication platforms have a lot of filters, so that it's not this real-time hammering. The issue with Skype is it's this real-time hammering. As soon as somebody sends you a message, as soon as somebody sends you a request, it pops up, it notifies you, and so if you have a person that won't accept no for an answer, it just keeps hammering you again and again and again and again and again, and it can cause real issues until somebody like me blows up. And so the question, like some people have, then is then where is the line there? Where is the line? Where is the line between a rapist mentality, where you don't accept no for an answer, and simply being able to follow up with a question, right? Hey, I sent you a question. Just curious, are you going to get around to it? So this question comes from Matthew M. A month ago, I sent in a question about whether there was a viable alternative for GPO functionality, which for reason didn't get picked up. I attribute it to luck of the draw, and it was something I've been musing on for a year or two now. I didn't really think any more of it. In your latest video, you ranted about a guy who just wouldn't take no for an answer. As another no by silence, recipient, this got me curious about exactly why my question didn't get picked up. While I'm under no illusion that I have any claim on your time, I was wondering if I could ask, where did I go wrong, as a follow-up? Was my question just wrong for the show? Did I send it to the wrong place? Was it too retarded for words? I know I might be biased, but come on, it had to be better than reformatted laptop guy. Was it not concise enough or generally needed to present it better? Were you just busy and or hundreds of questions get answered? I just got lost in the lottery. Bing, 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 right? So what you have to understand when I do these question and answer videos is basically, as I try to tell all of you guys, I'm a real human being, and not only am I a real human being, but I have a couple of balls in the air, right? I don't try to make myself particularly busy, but I do. I have the real YouTube videos that I do, and I have to do a lot of research and discussions and kind of stuff for that. I do these Eli the Computer Guy Live videos. I do now 15 plus hours of Silicon Discourse, Skype meetings. So I have a lot of things going on. Beyond that, I also just have stuff going on in life. Again, my life is not your life. My life is, a month ago or whatever, I was off in Seattle, and then I packed everything up in the travel trailer, and literally had to take a month and drive all the way back here to the Baltimore Maryland area. So basically, the question then becomes is why? So why do questions not get picked up? Why do I not answer questions? Now, the biggest reason, honestly, is I just don't have time, right? So I try to do these videos. My goal is to answer 3 questions per day. That's a goal. You know, I'm not particularly hard on myself about that goal. That's just the goal that I have. And so one of the issues that's just come up recently is that between the Silicon Discourse meetings that take up a chunk of my time, and also I have to do some work on the house, I just kind of run out of time during the day. So one, I run out of time during the day, and then two, Eli Computer Guy Live, this vlog channel, I want to try to do at least 3 videos per day, but I also have other videos to do beyond question and answer. So like Icy Doc, this is cool. This is fucking cool, right? So like Icy Doc sent me this really awesome, like what is this, 8-bay solid state drive desktop enclosure, so you can put in, you know, 8 things. And so I do like reviews on stuff like this. So not only am I trying to do 3 videos per day, but then I have things like review items or whatever I have to do reviews on, and comments and all that kind of stuff. And then I get busy, so on and so forth. So the number one, and that's why I get so busy with it, the number one reason that you don't get responded to is, right, get a lot of questions in, only got so much time, only have so much bandwidth, and so some questions don't get to. Basically, so that you guys know, actually all questions that I don't just delete because they are stupid, go into a question folder. And it really is, just in the morning I go into that question folder and I'll pick 2 or 3 or whatever, like, I want to do 3 questions today, and I'll go in there, and basically what I do is I star them, I flag them, and then I answer those 3. And then I'll keep doing it. So if you guys stop sending me questions, you know, at some point I'll actually get to those questions that are like a year old. But that's just how it goes, right? It's because again, you get so many questions and all that. And also, I also feel like a lot of the questions that you guys send me are so, you know, discussional, you know, they're things simply to talk about, that I'm not that worried about getting to. It seems like, you know, basically the types of questions that I generally get are either kind of like these rambling, we can have little discussions about it, basically it creates good content for you to listen in the background for, or it's so specific, or frankly, it's kind of like, why are you asking me that? Like, if you're asking something so specific, then it's kind of like, maybe you should just use Google to figure that out. But anyways, but the big thing is, yeah, I just don't have enough time in the day. So let's see, other options. Was my question just wrong for the show? Generally, I don't get wrong for the show questions. Surprisingly enough. And even the ones that are kind of wrong for the show are usually generally relatively fun to answer. You know, what kind of girlfriend should I have? That's probably wrong for the show, but hey, you know, I'm here to talk to geeks. I'll talk to you about what kind of girlfriend you should have. Basically, whichever one will accept you. Whichever one doesn't run away screaming when they see your body naked. Right? But yeah, so generally, there's relatively few out of the whole time I've been doing question and answer. Wrong for the show, maybe deleted 1 or 2 based on that. That doesn't happen. Did I send it to the wrong place? I don't know. If you sent it to question@elithecomputerguy.com, it was the right place. If you did not, it was the wrong place. Was it too retarded for words? Yeah, no. Again, the whole retarded, you're not allowed to say retarded. I can say retarded because I'm a bit aspy, so theoretically I am retarded, so I is one, so I can say it, but you're not one, so don't you dare. Anyways. Yeah, again, with the two tarded for words, I do flush a lot of the too tarded for words, but basically, sadly enough, that's normally for the English as a second language folks. Holy crap, guys. You guys gotta do some proofreading every once in a while, right? Because I'm not a grammar Nazi. I am not an English professor, so I'm not particularly stressed on the language that you use and whether it's a fragment or a sentence, but I do need to know what the hell you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can sit there and it's just this blob of words. It's just like, look, they used a dartboard and picked English words. They put all these English words on a wall and like threw a dart in a random order and emailed me the results, right? So normally the retarded or whatever for words, honestly, it comes from English as a second language, folks. You know, people that don't speak English primarily, and where it's just I get it and I literally have no clue what you're talking about. So some of these in the past, I've read to you guys. And again, it's not about sentences or fragments or proper grammar. It's just this blob of words where you're like, I just don't understand what that is. So if English is your primary language and you can get your point across, you're probably not deleted for that. And was I not concise enough? That is a big one, actually. Again, this is one thing I hammer home to you guys a lot, where you guys need to get a hell of a lot more concise with your emails, especially to somebody like me. And what you have to realize is the longer your email is, that means the less that you've thought about what you're really asking. Right? Because the issue is really there's no reason to send me questions that are more than about 5 sentences, right? If you have really thought through the problem, if you have really thought through the answer you need, what kind of answer do I need, then in a fairly concise format, you should be able to just plunk that down. Again, 3 to 5 sentences is very reasonable for an email. And then I can get that and I can answer based on that. And then if you want to try to follow up, play the lottery again, then I can follow up. So I do get a lot of people that send me effing books. Oh my golly, you send me a book. And here's the thing, with books, there's, when I go through and I do the sorting, deleting, right? So if you just send me a bunch of gobbledygook words, that gets deleted. If you ask me how to hack your girlfriend's Facebook account at this point, that gets deleted. But like some of these books you guys send me, again, real lesson in life, your questions don't get deleted, but they kind of just sort of stay in the queue. You know what I'm saying? Like, I pop this thing up, I'm sitting there, I'm drinking my coffee in the morning, I want to do a couple of videos, and I pop up your email, and it is a book, and it's just like, wow, that is a book. And I go, click, close, next. Right? Close. I did not delete it, but I did close it. So that is the probably the biggest problem that I see with all of you guys with emails, is you need to make these things much more concise. I should be able to read your email in sub 30 seconds, less than 30 seconds, and be able to understand what's going on. If it is longer than that, again, like I say, it basically goes into the archive bin of hell, right? Not deleted. I didn't delete it. It's still there. Theoretically, if I go through all the other questions, I will get to yours. But yeah, so that is actually a big one. And just because, like I say, from a functional standpoint, for me as a YouTube person talking to you guys, is, the more I have to really think about what you're talking about, the harder it is to create the content. It also is the harder it is to create good answers. So if you give me a book, right? If you give me a book, and basically, in order to understand what's going on, I essentially have to print out the book and then sit here with my little sketch pad and try to diagram what the hell it is you're talking about. Right? Basically, this is the way to think about it. The moment that I have to pick up, and I have a little sketch pad right here. The moment I have to pick up my notebook and have a pen and start drawing out whatever the hell it is you're talking of, that is probably too complicated for this show, right? It's just too, what the hell? So that's the biggest problem I see. And I see that with all kinds of emails that I get from you guys, whether it's a question and answer videos or just other things, is you just send these massive books to me. And it's just like, I don't have time for that. Because again, like, there's thought processes. For me, I have to put my mind into a certain frame, right? A state of mind, in order to do different job tasks. And so, like, when you have these super complicated questions, the problem is that drops me into troubleshooting mode. The problem is troubleshooting mode for me. I don't talk. Right? So the biggest problem is for most people, don't send me books. I would say most likely for you just are on the list. You're just probably down far on the list. The other thing that I will tell you guys, just as a security thing for me, and it is kind of funny how many people do this, is I don't open any of your attachments either. So, if you send me your resume as an attachment and say, what's wrong with my resume? Right, again, if you send me like, Eli, I have all of these diagrams, and you send me those as an attachment, boop, they go away. And the reason is again, I have a zillion people all trying to communicate with me. The reality is, a chunk of them are wannabe, nasty, stupid little dipshit hackers who simply want to prove how cool they are. Hey, look, I was able to compromise Eli the computer guy's system. Aren't I awesome? It's like, no, you're not awesome. Eli gets how many emails per day, and you simply sent a spear phishing attack to compromise his, I don't even know what you would compromise. I mean, it's not even like you're kind of compromising anything. Oh, look, I can look at the unedited YouTube videos. Right, and so I don't open attachments. So that's the thing. So the real killer, what will get you deleted, is if you just send me a massive gobbledygook, or if you ask me to hack any kind of hacking stuff, any kind of nefarious type. Yeah, right. God, delete it. Boom. What will not get you read? You'll stay in the queue. You'll stay there. You'll be in the queue. Yeah, right. Is if you send me a book. If you send me a book, it's just too much. Again, what I would say is if you're sending me a book, it means you're really not thinking through your problem very well. You should be able to explain your problem in very short, 3 to 5 sentences is it. If it's longer than that, that means you're not really thinking about your problem. And if you're not really thinking about your problem, why the hell am I going to think about your problem? And then the one thing that does get you into a bit of a gray area, probably on the bad side, and the good side is if you send me attachments. So if you give me a question and most of the information in that question or the valuable information in that question is an attachment, I dump that simply because I don't trust any of you. Again, as I tell all of you, distrust and verify. Distrust and verify. Especially in this modern world, opening up attachments from any random person. I'm fine. I think the security of my system is fine. But again, I mean, because I talk to you guys a lot, right? I tell you about the systems I use. I tell you about the software I use. I tell you about my workflows. And so, if somebody wants to do a spear phishing attack against me, it's relatively easy. I know Eli uses this type of system. I know he uses this type of browser. I know he does this. And so after that, it's simply a project. Okay, I want to try to screw with Eli. So to screw with Eli, I know he uses this. So I'm going to find the vulnerability for this, or this. Oh, here is the vulnerability. This is how right. So as far as attachments goes, but that's it. Again, like I say, it all just goes into the queue when I get to it as I get to it. Basically, what I would say, the way you should think about my question and answer segment is for entertainment purposes. I mean, not right. For geek entertainment purposes. You know how they say that, like you step on a scale and it says like for entertainment purposes only, or fortune tellers, entertainment purposes only. The questions you guys really should be asking here are just these kind of like generic, like, hey, I have been thinking if you had 500. I work in an environment with 200 PCs. How viable do you think it would be to migrate them to Mint Linux? And I can talk about that. Again, it's a discussion point versus I need an answer. Again, if you need an answer, that's why I do Skype meetings. For right now, a whole whopping $10 a piece, right? So if you need those, and that's the other thing too, is you do have to realize, that's why I get so pissy with people, is I give you multiple options, right? There's the classes I do, then the question and answer. Classes are free, question and answer is free, and then the Skype costs you a pittance. So if you're like, oh, I need Eli's opinion about this, like now or soon, then that's where I say you get on a Skype meeting. And you got me for 50 minutes, and I'll tell you exactly what I think for 50 minutes about your question. So that is it. That is it in a nutshell. For you, you're probably just somewhere down the queue. Again, yeah. Like I say, people take these question and answer videos like too seriously. I mean, I'm not, right? Yeah. So that's it.